going to try again. I'm going to like to call to order the Emerald Park Landfill Standing Committee for October 2nd, 2023 at 5:04 p.m. Would the secretary please read the roll?
Abby Licky, absent. Patrick Murray.
Here.
Mark Slocum.
Here.
Scott Kowalski.
Here.
Harvey Schweitzer.
Here.
Alderperson Eileen Madden. Here. Greg Burmeister.
Here.
Roland Kiefer.
Here.
Daniel Olzenberger.
Here.
Chad Siegel.
Here.
Joel Spear Jr.
Here.
Statement of public notice.
This meeting's been noticed according to Wisconsin public laws.
Open forum. At this time, we have opportunity for people in the community to present issues to the committee. There will also be an open forum at the end where items that the committee brought up and discussed can also be addressed to the committee. Compliance officer report. I'm sorry.
My name is Jeff Harbinger, and I live off of Loomis Drive. I'm not sure when the correct time to ask this question. And this is in reference to the expansion that the landfill is talking about, which would be to the west. That runoff water directly affects my property. Between myself and maybe Ellis Margold, the most. When's the right time to talk about that, or are you going to be addressing that tonight?
Now, that item per se is not going to be addressed tonight.
Okay.
The committee itself is looking for a report that is being developed by the consultant that we use. And once that is in, then we've got information to work from. But I can tell you that water and runoff is usually a pretty high point for the consultant and also for the landfill itself. It's not something that is ignored by any means.
Okay, so do I just maybe watch what the itinerary is for future meetings to see when that might be on the docket?
Sure.
Kind of flag it? Okay, thank you.
Could you state your address, please?
South 99 West 13381 Loomis Drive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else? Okay, compliance officer report.
So, next I want to give everybody a summary of the last quarter's audits.
I don't.
Their tonnage continues to go up, not dramatically, but start the year in the 1700s and they're ending in the 2100s and up.
Don't have your mic on.
Of course not. How's that?
Just your mic a little closer.
Do I need to repeat?
Bring it down closer.
You can't pick everybody up.
So there have been 13 audits since the last meeting in June. And the real high points are, it's been really dry, and the landfill has gotten a couple rainstorms, but they've been pumping out rather consistently 55,000 gallons per day, which is a little on the high side. So maybe something broke loose when they'll get some freedom from their water issues. They're down to one one sump that is regularly higher than a foot in depth. It's head well number 12. And I guess the really big thing is the expansion construction started with the excavation of phase 8. They are excavating at their contractor, is excavating at the far southwest corner of the site. So as far away from the existing footprint as possible, and moving the soils on top of the berm or adjacent to it for stockpiling. And that berm, the changes to that have been approved by the DNR.
How big is this expansion?
Oh, I would call that a cheap shot. I'm sorry. They're moving like 1.6 million tons of 1.6 million yards of soil to place it. But I want to say, is it 23?
The cell is about 21 acres.
Yeah.
A little over 21 acres.
And that will come out to how many cubic yards, you know?
Well, it's only going to give us probably about maybe a little over 1 year of site life, so roughly, I'll say 800,000 cubic yards of capacity. So our intent is to, construct again in 2025 following next year's construction of the cell.
$800,000 cubic yards, that's
Yeah,
all?
that's it. Yeah, there's not much layover with this Phase 8. It's kind of a odd-looking cell for the plan of operation. A lot of sidewall, not much floor to the cell. Go ahead.
Phase 8 and the expansion are not exactly the same thing.
Right.
And where they're excavating is the expansion.
What?
Phase 8 is the...
Well, it's technically phase.
Yeah, but you're still not... The expansion is one large footprint. Phase 8 is a portion of that total expansion.
Correct.
Okay. So the way they've been breaking up the construction up until now, so it's not going to go all the way to the side slopes. It's going to be another subset cell, and it's going to have an open side where they're going to continue to excavate the rest of the expansion.
Question, is it possible to get a site map or an aerial view so that we all know what this expansion versus the cell is relative to the footprint there?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can show you where the activities are currently ongoing and will be ongoing next year as part of the cell construction, and then we can show the layout for the future expansion as well. Absolutely.
And we could get a copy of that?
Yeah.
What's the mechanics of getting copies to?
However you'd like it. We can either provide hard copies, or I can provide electronic copies to Scott, and he can, disseminate it however you would like it.
Okay, and could we get that relatively soon?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you okay with email? Like if he gets them to me?
Yeah,
then I
email
can-
would work.
I can just send it out just like I do the agendas and everyone will have it.
Yep, that's fine.
All right.
Joe, anything else?
No, everything's been going really well. Plus, it's also been summer. So the site has not engaged in any quote-unquote construction, where they're creating a new cell. They've done modifications and so on, raised gas wells and so on. They implemented the use of a street sweeper, but as far as their operations, their biggest change is going to be this new expansion and the future cell. We talked about the leachate storage tank at the last meeting. It has been implemented and it has been aiding them in their operation. But it's no longer the new device out there.
When you mention they use a street sweeper, is it a vacuum system or just a sweeper?
It's a tiny, well, Dan, you know the model number.
Yeah, I'm going to actually let Chad reply a little bit to it.
It's an Elgin Pelican sweeper like you'd see in municipalities.
So is
It's a
it,
vacuum sweeper.
Yep.
is it a vacuum sweeper?
Yep.
And with the curb and gutter rooms and then the large center room.
Okay. Anything else under compliance officer report?
Since you mentioned the review, I plan to have it done next week, or the addendum 1 for the western expansion.
Okay. Audits, are you sending those out? What's happening? Last one I got was for June.
I'm behind on providing summaries of the audits.
Okay. You have an estimate of when that's going to be up to date?
You'll have all of them before the end of the year. I plan to have them up to date prior to that. but I at least am guaranteeing you'll have all of them, in compliance with the year.
Status of projects, clay extraction.
Well, we touched, between Joe and myself on that a little bit. The Phase 8 cell construction has begun. As he mentioned, we've got a large volume of soil to excavate as part of the cell construction. So that will be going on as weather allows through the winter. Like I said, we do have a little bit of an airspace crunch right now. So in order to get the cell completed, when our current remaining airspace becomes full, we need to try to take advantage of as many working days as we can between now and about this time next year. So if weather allows through the winter months, we will be doing some clay excavation so that we are ready to do the actual cell construction sometime in May or June of next year. As a result of all of the activity back there, we've kind of put a halt on any third-party hauling out material at the site. There's a lot of traffic going on back there with the haul trucks and such, so our focus is on working with the contractor for that effort.
All materials remaining on site?
Right, yes, all materials remaining on site.
Okay.
Yep.
MMSD project.
Not too much to report on this. We've had some very steady delivery, particularly there for the months of August and September. There's been no significant shutdowns as it relates to delivery to the district, and we expect to finish out the year in that same manner. So all's been pretty good on the delivery of gas down to the district.
Are you making money yet?
Soon.
Okay. Electronic recycling?
Yeah, on the electronic recycling and really the residential drop-off together, we did add a second box for the electronics. We were noticing that we were, like everything else, getting quite a bit of material in, and sometimes we were beginning to overflow that single box that we had. So we thought it was prudent to get a second container, and that seems to ensure that we can keep things in those containers and covered up as we need to. So that's probably the main focus there. And then as it relates to the residential drop-off, probably the biggest thing as we move into this time of the year is the increase in activity back by the yard waste operation as fall cleanup gets wrapped up and the leaves come into the site as part of that cleanup. So we'll plan on doing a grinding probably after we think most of that material is in. So probably in November, or late November, early December, we'll probably do a grinding of that material back on the compost pad. But other than that, no real issues with the residential drop-off area.
Questions, comments? Well testing for well water protection area?
Yeah, we, believe it or not, we're coming up on that again here pretty quickly. So we will work as we have in the past with ESC to send out letters to see who we can secure for the sampling effort, and the plan would be to complete that sampling before the end of the year as we have done over the last couple. So I think most of that effort has been done in November and December of the previous calendar year. So we will lean on ESC to get the notification letters out, and then as they come back, the list will be formed and the sampling will be done in December.
Okay. Plan modification issues?
We've had a few expedited plan modifications into the department. Most of them have been related to the soil stockpiling efforts as part of the mass excavation efforts that are ongoing. The department requires us to identify where soil stockpiles are. So those have been in and approved. And as Joe mentioned, the feasibility addendum has been submitted and is currently in review by the department. I would not expect to hear from them probably until closer to the end of the year as it relates to the information provided in that document.
Okay, and this is the feasibility for the
expansion.
Expansion?
That's correct.
Just to be really clear, it's addendum 1.
Correct.
So the DNR did make a determination of completeness of a checklist and then a rather lengthy response letter of questions that has not been responded to since late 2014.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, which is fine. It's the way it goes. But so the DNR, is this a 60 or 90?
I think it's a 60.
Okay, so the DNR has 60 days to respond, and then GFL will have 30 to respond to that, and then it'll just window down until the DNR issues an approval. For what it's worth, if the DNR fails to make any response in any of the time changes, it's an automatic acceptance.
Yes.
They'll reply.
Yes, and Joe will make sure that they do, right?
Yeah, they'll reply.
Property protection, sociological.
Nothing really to report on the property protection. Nothing has come into our attention on that. Regarding the sociological payments, again, I think there's some correspondence that comes out from GFL, from the Emerald Park landfill, probably in November, December timeframe, just making sure we've got current information as it relates to names, addresses, and those types of, that type of information so that we are ready to, I guess, cut those checks shortly after the first of the year.
But no one's coming up on property protection? No
one has come in to us with any notice that they want to exercise, that opportunity under the property protection of the host agreement. Nothing has come in, no.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Household hazardous waste.
Oh, yeah.
She's not here tonight.
She's not here. Yep.
But,
Did she call, or do you know?
no, I have not heard from her.
Okay. Think so? Okay. Okay, new business we have done, continuing business. I think we have covered that now. Excuse me, Joe?
First, I should have asked this in my compliance officer, but it's continuing business. The end of the year is coming around. JSA would like to have the week of Christmas off from auditing GFL. GFL's made it pretty clear they'd rather not see me for the end of the year, so I was hoping the committee would allow me to have that week in Pennsylvania.
That's up to Rolly.
It'll be double trip that week.
As it's been my tradition, I move to approve Joe's leave between Christmas and New Year's.
Second.
Probably you're a gem.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
The motion carries unanimously.
And the other thing is, Wendy, can you bring up one of the audits? It doesn't matter which one, just any of the audits. Is that something you can easily share on the screens?
check this.
Remember where they are, top of your head? Oh, wait, hold on. Been a while since I've been in.
It should be under landfill.
Here we go.
Yep.
All right. The last one I had was June 21st.
Yeah, well,
Do you want that?
I'm finishing Carol first. But yes, all I want is the map. So the last page one. It just dawned on me when we were talking. So the map includes the expansion as it was in 2014. Because it was the drawing I had to pull from.
This?
I think he wants the map that's up.
Really?
Nope. Scroll back a few pages. There's a map in there.
It's the 5th page.
Oh.
Right there.
It's,
Oh,
I'm
there you
sorry,
go,
it's
right there.
at the end
This
of
guy.
my handwriting, not the end of the audit, my apologies.
Right, before the pictures.
Yeah,
Can you share that with everybody?
Yep, hold on. I'm gonna move my, move over. Okay, so let me see if in this one.
There you go. So you can see where it says Phase 8.
Do this.
So when we're talking about the expansion, that Phase 8 is what I'm talking about for the future. When we talk about Phase 8, and I'll get my map cleaned up for future conversations, when we talk about Phase 8 for construction and use of waste placement, it's the sliver next to the current Phase 7. Is that a good way to describe it, Dave?
Yeah, it'll be certainly a portion of that, what is shown there, how it finishes off, I guess, to the west as it leads into the expansion area is what'll need to be modified.
Point out to me where all the soil is going? Berms?
I don't have the map showing that because it's the diversion berms, the obscurement berms at the very south edge. So along Union Church Road or 8 Mile are those rather large berms.
Yep.
They're increasing the width and in some places the height of those. Still all being maintained at the DNR required slopes and silt fence out. The road is armored so that they won't have impacts on wetlands and so on. So it's like they're redoing when they did Phase 5, they started building those berms. Starting out with the same thing, they're just adding to them.
Okay, so all of the soils are going to end up going along the berms along Union Church.
No, not all of them, a good portion of it.
Okay.
There's also some that is proposed to go up, I'll say on the north of the facility, kind of in the area where we were putting material a couple of years ago. So kind of behind the Briggs building, the old Briggs building, I call it.
Future Parkland.
Future Parkland area. Thank you, Joe. So up in that area.
Okay, that is, gets into what was brought up, addressed here tonight about water drainage issues. That particular berm one. The one on 8 Mile is already established.
Right.
But where you're talking about now could potentially have some impact. I don't know, without seeing drawings.
Sure, and I mean, we can probably provide a drawing of that as well. I know we've, as part of our land disturbance permit application that we secured, there was some mapping that was provided as part of that. And there's also some stormwater retention that's proposed to be implemented as part of the stockpiling to the north as well.
Okay.
I can email tomorrow what you submitted. It'll be really good for me just to email you the map. It's 1 or 2 pages. They'll give you a good idea of where he's talking about for the stockpiles.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Other business, review payments made from committee funds. There's a number of attachments. Any questions, comments? Okay, next thing is establish meeting and annual tour dates for 2024.
All right. I did try to look at some dates based on past years. I know we usually try to avoid New Year's, so that would bring us to Monday, January 8th. The next one I've got was a little trickier. We've got Easter on March 31st of this year, and opening of Brewers happens to be the 2nd. I think it might have been a Tuesday. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to go out to April 8th, or if anybody had a different date.
And back up a second. Is opening day of Brewers, is that an issue with this current committee?
Not me.
Okay, so we can ignore opening day as being a conflict.
Well, I know, but if Sunday the 31st is Easter, so does anybody really want to meet on April 1st? Or do we just want to go the following week again and go April 8th? I don't know who's out of town.
April 8th?
Yeah.
April 8th is probably better.
Okay,
I'm typically gone the week after Easter.
okay. The next one would be the tour date. So with the 4th of July falling in the middle like it does every year, it would either be June 24th or July 8th.
I sense a pattern.
Yes. Very, very much so.
Eileen, which one would you like to have it?
I think July 8th works just fine.
We'll just stick
You'll
with
be
the
able to
8th.
chair, I hope. I think I'll be north. July
right.
8th?
And that'll be the tour date, and then the meeting will follow and stay at the landfill for that one.
Okay.
And then I couldn't keep the 8th because Monday is the 7th in October. That's what I've got.
How's this look to everyone?
Oh, what's the date on the fourth meeting, or third meeting?
Monday, October 7th.
October 7th?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, citizen commentary? Anything? Okay, communications and other business is authorized by law. Upon hearing none, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 5:33.
Yeah,
Close enough?
yeah.